Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and today we're going to be doing my April update for the Fantastic Ladies 2021 Project Pan Tiny Pans. I love this concept so much. You're basically choosing teeny tiny pans to hit pan on or finish up. It's brilliant because it's so approachable. If you are new, welcome. I am so excited that you decided to click on this video. And if you have not yet subscribed, I hope that you'll consider doing so. But without further ado, let's talk all about the eyeshadow palette that I have chosen to try to pan for the year 2021. Again, as I said, this is a collaboration with the Fantastic Ladies. They are a panning community that started out on Facebook, and from there they have proliferated onto YouTube, Instagram, and basically any place else that there are people panning. The Fantastic Ladies are there for you. So I chose this year to pan my Sleek Cosmetics. This is their When the Sun Goes Down eyeshadow palette. And if you've seen any of my updates or my intro, you know that these pans are tiny, tiny. So this was what this project was made for. So let's bring this in closer. And as you can see, I do have new pan for you guys. How excited are we? I know I am super thrilled. So as I did before, I'm going to pop up a couple of pictures here. We're going to talk about how many times I have used each of these shadows and yeah, go from there. So let's start with the first shade in the palette. I'm pretty consistent with this shade. I used it a total of 4 times. This is a shade that I really like to use as an inner corner highlight or sometimes up on the brow bone. Works very, very well for that. The next shadow in this palette is one that I've only used 4 times, which is a surprise to me because it is the only remaining matte in this palette. However, it is a little bit on the darker side, so it gets light use when it gets use. Hopefully that makes sense. And to be honest with you, I have been panning a specific look with one of the shadows in here, and I've been using it as an all over lid and crease shade, so that is why this second matte shade in the palette has gotten so little usage. The next shadow in this palette got a total of 2 uses. Again, this is a very bright blingy shade, which I do actually quite like. I've been using it predominantly as an inner corner highlight. However, now that the weather is getting warmer and nicer, I am going to start using this more on the lid, I think, hopefully blend it in with some other shades to really maximize its beautiful reflective quality. It is probably one of the, if not the most reflective shade in this palette, and it is the kind of shade that I really love and look for when buying an eyeshadow palette. So the fourth shade is the one that I hit pan on, and I'm very excited. I used it a total of 7 times since our last update in order to hit pan. And what I've been doing is I've been basically taking it all over the lid. So everything from the lash line all the way up into the crease and even a little bit higher blended out. I don't typically love a metallic or shimmer shade in the crease, but this actually works just fine because it's not a super reflective shade. So I've been doing that, and then I've been going over top of it with other shades. Most often with my Super Shock Shadow IRL from my Partners in Cream project pan. Those two pair very nicely together, but I've also gone in with a few other things as well. So it's just a really good base for a very simple everyday sort of look. So have hit pan there, and I am so ecstatic, so ecstatic. The next shadow in the palette I have only used once since our last check-in. It is again a shade that I use most specifically as an inner corner or a brow bone highlight. The 6th shadow in this palette I did not use at all, so we won't even talk about it. Number 7 is, again, a shade that I either was using as an inner corner highlight or one that I would tap over on top of that 4th shadow in the palette, and I really liked that combination. I used it a total of 8 times since our last check-in, so making some progress there, but because I use so little of it at a time, it is nowhere near pan, but that's okay. It's only April. The 8th shade in this palette, I have not used at all. To be honest with you, number 8 and number 4 can really be kind of interchangeable. So I have a feeling that, sorry, I've got a stray hair from my bangs that is just tickling my nose like crazy. But the 8th shadow in this palette, I feel like is very interchangeable with the 4th. So I will probably start in on that at some point, using it in a very similar way as to the 4th shadow, so that hopefully I can try to hit some more pan on it someday. I've already finished up the 9th shadow entirely. That was just a matte colored cream. No, I'm sorry, a cream colored matte, sorry. The next shadow in this is that purple shade, which is the 10th shadow. I only used that twice, but it is, I think, going to be the one that I zero in on next, because I think that I can use it just like I used the 4th shadow, because it's not a terribly impactful shadow, as unfortunately so many of these aren't. I think I'm going to use it in the same way, just pack it all over the lid, buff it in through the crease and above, and then go in over top of it with some more impactful shadows and really build looks that way. So hopefully that will be the one that I hit pan on next, because that is going to be my goal, I think. The 11th shadow I only used once, and the 12th shadow I did not use at all. Again, though, as we are moving into the warmer months, that really rust colored shadow I think will probably get a little bit more use. I've just had it on the back burner because it's not been what I've been drawn towards. So that is where we are as far as my mini palette goes. Again, I really think that the shadow I'm going to hone in on in the month of March is going to be that purple shade, in hopes that I can hit pan on it by the next update. That would be incredible. And I do have some other purples and pinks that I have going on in other projects, so I think I should be able to build some nice looks off of that utilize a lot of different shadows from multiple projects. I did also roll in this itty bitty little lip product. This is from Bobbi Brown. This is the Crushed Liquid Lip, and it is in the shade Smoothie Move. I have used it 5 times since our last update, and it has had 0 movement in the container. I'm rethinking the, I guess, the wisdom of adding this in, but you know what? I am totally fine with that, and I think that regardless of where things are next month, I'm going to add in another tiny pan then as well of a different product, so that, you know what, I can just torture myself further and you guys will be along for the ride. If you are working on this project, how was your last month for you? Did you do really well, or are you starting to hit a little bit of panner's fatigue? I know that that tends to happen from time to time. I would love to know how it's going for you. As always, everything that I am panning, as well as everything that I'm wearing on my face, will be in the description box below, as well as links to other YouTube channels that are working on this project, the Fantastic Ladies. Everything is going to be down there, so I would highly encourage you to check that out. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope that you are having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.